This is the story of how incompetent dam reconstruction in the early 1880s caused one of the worst disasters in U.S. history on May 31, 1889. Unqualified builders ignored critical safety features from the original 1840s South Fork Dam design when they rebuilt it to form Lake Conemaugh. The lake was the center of the 1880s South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club resort complex in the Allegheny Mountains. The rebuilt dam failure sent 3.8 billion gallons of water racing down a 450-foot elevation drop through the winding Little Conemaugh River's 14-mile path from the dam to Johnstown in just 1 hour. Experts have estimated that the flood wave moved at speeds up to 40 miles per hour, uprooting trees, buildings, railroad locomotives, and destroying several bridges. Photos from the time show the massive damage and the debris accumulation at the Stone Arch Railroad Bridge across the Conemaugh River in Johnstown, just downstream of where the Little Conemaugh and Stony Creek rivers merge. In the 1850s, Johnstown was an active coal mining and iron-making industrial city in the Allegheny Mountains of western Pennsylvania. It was also an important hub for the western division of the Pennsylvania Canal System, where the Allegheny Portage Railroad connected the eastern and western divisions of the canal system by carrying barges over the Allegheny Mountains. The Pennsylvania Canal System was a major competitor to the Erie Canal System in New York. This site plan shows how Johnstown looked in 1853. The Cambria Iron Works, the major employer in Johnstown, was located close to the confluence of the Little Conemaugh and Stony Creek rivers. The canal passed right through the ironworks site and crossed the Little Conemaugh River. The canal pond in the lower left is the transfer point between the canal and the Allegheny Portage Railroad. This 1845 artist rendering shows the canal crossing the river in an aqueduct with a mule team pulling a barge. This artist rendering shows a barge being carried up the mountainside by the Allegheny Portage Railroad. Taking another look at the site plan, we can see the route of the Pennsylvania Railroad through Johnstown. The railroad crosses the Conemaugh River over the Stone Arch Bridge, where much of the flood's debris was trapped and caught fire 36 years after this site plan was made. Looking at the Stone Arch Bridge today, it is hard to imagine how this small river could have caused so much death and damage in 1889. The western division of the Pennsylvania Canal System had a water supply problem in the summer months when the river flows dropped off and the canal level dropped so low that the barges could not move along the canal. Pennsylvania started work on the Western Reservoir in 1838. The South Fork Dam and Western Reservoir were completed in 1852, the same year that the Pennsylvania Railroad completed the first Philadelphia to Pittsburgh train trip. Competition between the newer, faster railroad and the older, slower canal led to the eventual sale of the dam and reservoir to the Pennsylvania Railroad. In 1857, only 5 years after the dam was built, the railroad took possession of the dam and western reservoir lands. The railroad neglected the dam and reservoir. In 1862, a breach in the dam reduced the water level in the reservoir from 72 feet to 40 feet. The dam and reservoir stayed in this state of disrepair until 1875, when an Altoona congressman, John Kelly, bought them from the railroad. In 1879, Benjamin Ruff and a group of Pittsburgh industrialists formed the South Fork Hunting and Fishing Club and bought the dam and reservoir to build a mountain lake retreat for wealthy Pittsburgh industrialists. In the 1880-81 period, the club built a large hotel and several vacation cottages and rebuilt the dam to provide a lake for boating and fishing for stock game fish. On May 31, 1889, the rebuilt dam failed, sending a massive flood wave downstream. This photo shows the rebuilt South Fork Dam and Lake Conemaugh. There are two main causes for its failure in 1889. Design changes from the original design and poor construction quality. The original South Fork Dam had several design features that provided a high level of safety for the earthen dam. The dam had an impermeable core, 5 24-inch discharge pipes to lower the dam level for maintenance and repairs, large riprap stones on the downstream face of the dam, and a dam height spillway width designed to prevent overtopping of the dam. The rebuilt dam design did not include these critical dam safety features. The club replaced the impermeable puddle core with straw and hay. They removed the 5 24-inch drain pipes. They did not replace the downstream face large riprap, rather they used small riprap. They also reduced the dam height by 2 feet and reduced the spillway width from 150 feet to 85 feet. These photos show the 85-foot spillway and the fish grate upstream of the spillway that the club installed to prevent the loss of their stocked game fish. These recent photos show the original large riprap on the downstream face. The club did not replace the large riprap lost in the 1862 breach. Rather, they used smaller, less secure riprap. The smaller riprap in the 1862 breach area is quite visible in this photo of the club's rebuilt dam. The club's construction quality for such a critical structure was questionable. The rebuilt dam appears to have been poorly rebuilt. The dam had 2 washouts during their construction. This photo of the western abutment shows the upstream face was not protected. There is clear evidence of dam erosion. The dam simply does not look well constructed. This blue horizontal line shows how the dam height was not level across the dam length. The western abutment was several feet higher than the center of the dam. The American Society of Civil Engineers formed a committee of experienced engineers to investigate the dam failure. They published their report in 1891. The committee concluded that the Hunting and Fishing Club took out the drainage pipes in the dam, lowered the embankment by 2 feet, and partially obstructed the spillway by gratings to prevent the loss of fish. Quoting from the report, these changes materially diminished the security of the dam by exposing the embankment to overflow and consequent destruction by floods of less magnitude than could have been borne with safety if the original construction of 1851 to 53 had been adhered to. They went on to say, but in our opinion they cannot be deemed to be the cause of the late disaster, as we find that the embankment would have been overflowed and the breach formed if the changes had not been made. The report did not address the spillway length, downstream riprap, or construction quality. Later studies show that their opinion on the cause of the dam is not valid. In 1988, Walter Frank reviewed the original dam design and specifications and noted that the original design called for a 150-foot spillway, not the 75-foot spillway provided by the club. Frank concluded, quote, if the reconstruction of the South Fork Dam had been rebuilt to the original specifications and construction, the disaster of May 31, 1889 would never have occurred. Geologists at the University of Pittsburgh, Johnstown, conducted in-depth investigations into the rebuilt dam failure over a number of years. In their 2016 report on their investigations, they provided a detailed analysis of the 2-day rainfall intensity. Their rainfall analysis showed that the 2-day rainfall varied from 5 to 6 inches in some areas to 8+ inches in the highest rainfall area. The drainage area above the rebuilt South Fork Dam got 6 to 7 inches, while Johnstown got 5 to 6 inches. The geologist's hydrologic and hydraulic analysis showed that the dam design changes reduced the spillway and design discharge capacity by 50%. The capacity of the original spillway and drainage systems could have handled the May 30-31, 1889 rainfall. The increased storage and doubled discharge capacity of the original design would have prevented overtopping long enough to protect the South Fork Dam. These geologists also raised concerns about the integrity of the original 1891 report. The 1891 conclusions were not consistent with the information available to the committee. The 1891 review appears to have been biased in favor of the dam owners. Daniel Morrell of the Cambria Iron Works raised concerns about the dam safety to Benjamin Ruff, the president of the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, in 1880. Mr. Ruff dismissed these safety concerns and assured Mr. Morrell that, quote, "You and your people are in no danger from our enterprise." On May 31st, 1889, the dam failed, draining the lake in 45 minutes. The rebuilt dam failure caused unimaginable death and destruction. 2,209 people died, and 1,600 homes were destroyed. There was an estimated $17 million in property damage in 1889 dollars. 4 square miles of Johnstown's downtown was destroyed. Over 300 freight cars, 18 passenger cars, and 33 locomotives were swept up in the flood wave. 50 miles of track were damaged or destroyed. Railroad bridges, a roundhouse, and other railroad buildings were damaged or destroyed. No damage claims were ever paid. Neither the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club nor any members were found liable. South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club's gross design errors and poor construction quality cost 2,200 lives and incredible damage. There was poor construction quality, and the ASCE committee report was biased or worse. David McCullough, in his excellent book, summarized the situation as follows. The lesson of the Johnstown flood is this: it's a great mistake, possibly even perilous, ever to assume that because people are in positions of responsibility, that they are therefore acting responsibly.